5 years old and I have cystic fibrosis.
When I was a high school football player, I actually got a chance to be in the first Empire Challenge that Boomer Esiason and the foundation put together. I was a quarterback for the Long Island team. So once we found out Luke was born with cystic fibrosis, my family wanted to find a way that we could be involved and that we could help support as well. So we heard about the Run to Breathe as kind of the Central Park run that the Boomer Esiason Foundation was going to put together to continue to support the CF community. For our family, the Run to Breathe is great just because of the energy and the hope. So you'll see 7,000 people jump in and join, and there's another several thousand that are there on the sidelines cheering and watching. So it sells out quickly every year. I have to remind my family that they have to sign up as soon as possible because we don't want to miss out. As a parent of a child with cystic fibrosis, some of the most exciting parts of that day are talking to cystic fibrosis patients that are my age that talk to me about how many wonderful advancements my son has as opposed to what they had growing up. Boomer Esiason's foundation is a huge, huge part of all of those advancements. So I get to walk away from that day with a lot of energy and a lot of good hope about what the future looks like for Luke.
When I grow up, I want to be a Lego master.
Living with CF is hard and very emotional, and being a part of the Boomer Esiason Foundation has made me more active than I already was, and it keeps me motivated and helps me keep a positive attitude. This June I was his Athlete of the Month, and the Boomer Esiason Foundation allows me to see and hear all the other stories of other people who have CF. Has helped me to know that I'm not the only one, and that there's other people battling the same battle that I am.
I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and the reason I got into that field was because I've had so much exposure to the medical field, and I've had great physical therapists work with me throughout, my journey with cystic fibrosis. So the fact that the Boomer Esiason Foundation is the only organization that provides scholarships for students with cystic fibrosis is vital. Unlike most of my friends who were able to have jobs during college, my job was keeping up with my treatments and staying healthy. I didn't have to worry as much about the financial burdens of chronic illness and college education. So because of that, I was able to become a doctor. If my memory serves me correctly, I think I found out that I had received the scholarship I got a phone call from Jerry Cahill, and he kind of told me I did, and I don't think I had many words to say, but then I hung up the phone and did my happy dance and was all excited.
Cystic fibrosis is really tricky. I always think of it as a chain. It adds more diseases and more problems onto each other that slowly debilitate you.
Matthew had developed portal hypertension as an offshoot of cystic fibrosis, a complication of the liver, and then he developed pneumonia, and when he was in the hospital, he started retaining fluid, and we realized that his liver was failing, was in bad shape.
My dad was chosen as the person to give me half his liver. It was a really, really rough time to go through.
I just had an acute crisis year in terms of finances. Things just got very, very rough. So I reached out to the foundation for help and inquired about the grants for transplants. And they were able to help us. They helped pay our mortgage for a period of time while my son and I were recovering.
It helped us out a lot, and they helped us for me to go back to college.
To have that relief and to know that this was taken care of so that I could worry about my son and our health and everything else and move on. It was just critical.
Being stuck in a room for a month, it's horrible, but it felt really good to know that we were being helped. That we weren't alone in this, that someone else was with us and helping us cope.
I'm forever in their debt.
When you think of cystic fibrosis, it's usually the first thing that pops in the mind is that it's a lung disease. But it is way more than a lung disease. It's something that impacts the pancreas, the liver, the digestive system, reproduction for most men.
I learned that Stephen, assumed that he might never have children, and so we sort of had to take a big step back and think through what our life might look like, sort of in the what are all of our options, and obviously recognizing that IVF was our best available option, and pretty much our only option to have children of our own.
One of the things that I've learned over the course of my life is to have patience, and everything takes time and everything will work out, and we have a beautiful, healthy 2-month-old boy.
If it wasn't for foundations like the Boomer Esiason Foundation and folks really shining a light and raising the money, this whole process would be completely different for us. We'd have a completely different life. So we're really grateful for that.
Him being here now is just a reminder of what's important in life and why I fight so hard and why we as a family fight so hard, because we want to make sure we're around for a long time with this little guy. Right, bud? He says yes.
I think what's unique about the Boomer Esiason Foundation is they're not focused solely on the cure, where that's the only thing, where everything's being thrown into that. They see people with CF as whole human beings, and they try to address all their needs.
Getting support from the Boomer Esiason Foundation to be able to go to college or further your education, or assistance when you're having to deal with a transplant just makes life a little bit easier.
They have funded so many of the drugs that I'm currently taking that extend my life. To have all these people supporting and doing so much amazing work and not even knowing who I am is beyond words. I mean, it brings so much emotion out in me to even think about it.
The reality of the disease, unfortunately, is that it has a lifespan. It is a degenerative disease, and that's what's the scariest part as a parent. This is a disease that hopefully has a cure on the horizon, and that will take continued research and continued support. I hope that we're talking about a cure in my son's lifetime.
What would I like to say to Boomer and his team?
Thank you.
What you guys do is amazing.
We all look up to him and are very grateful for what he does.
Thank you for your continued drive, your efforts, your passion, your determination to continue to make an impact in the lives of people with cystic fibrosis. It's really appreciated.
Thank you, Boomer.